YouTube, bit of a change of plan there. I was all smart, clever yesterday before I went into the studio with a band, and I did 2 videos of a guy guitars I was doing a wee bit of an MOT sort of health check on, and it was great. About 10 minutes ago I was just clearing up a little bit of space and I just buried the bit, get rid of the video, I deleted it by mistake. So, another video gives me an excuse to play this one. This is I really like this guitar. This is a Yamaha Pacifica, which you can probably tell, but this is an expensive Pacifica. I think to be honest, I think they actually go more expensive than this. This is a 600, so it's a 611. 6 being in the Yamaha terminology, which doesn't work for all of them, but works for quite a lot. 6 is kind of about 600 quid, and 11 is humbuckers and single coils. So this is one humbucker, and P90 is a single coil, but normally like a 321 has, yes, a 3, so it's sort of how much it costs for the 3 numbers, sort of how much it costs, how many humbuckers and how many single coils, because a 321 would be about 300 quid, has 2 humbuckers and 1 single coil, and like a 112 would be 100 quid, 1 humbucker, 2 single coils, so it's HSS. Yeah, so all working in, and it's got some letters after it. HFM, H might be hardtail, if it's a hardtail, and FM, go for flamed maple, maybe. This nice tiger finish. I don't think it's a particularly big cap. I think it's more of a veneer than a. I'd say the back bodies, that's ash, isn't it? Don't know, the specs for these will be online anyway. But quality Yamaha stuff. I really like this. I was actually playing my West Tone, yeah. Thinking, oh, this is good. I was wondering whether is this actually better than this. I can't do a comparison because this isn't my guitar and this one's mine, so it's better. So even if it wasn't, but well, they're almost similar. They're not hundreds of miles apart. And that's not slagging off the Yamaha because the West Tone's absolutely fantastic. But the big thing with the Yamaha is this is a modern guitar. I was like, I can't remember did I work out what year it was? I think it's kind of quite new. But Seymour Duncan pickups, P90, humbucker, coil splitter on the humbucker, 3-way switch, looks like graphite saddles of some sort, 3-strung, like a Telecaster. Yeah, it's got, I think these are Grover tuners, which you get the serial number, NO1, 11, 14, could be 14, don't know. I don't know, Yamaha serial numbers are sometimes difficult. I'm not really sure about modern ones, how easy it is to read them. I know that if you go into things like my Yamaha SG from the 80s, it's the Shaolin dating system, where it's kind of like numbers and letters, and it's to do with some Japanese emperor or something. I don't really know what that is. It's like you can look up a chart thing that tells you. I don't know if they still do that with these. This is an Indonesian made one. As I said, Grover tuners, and I think these might be locking tuners, but instead of having the wheel on the back, they just look like normal on the back, but on the top, see there's like a slot head screwdriver thing. In fact, they must be locking tuners because there's no wraps on that tuner at all. So I think what you do with this one is you just need a screwdriver, you just undo it a bit, put the string through and tighten up. Which, just looking at it, I can tell is lighter than normal locking tuners because there's less of it there. Normal locking tuners have got like an extra big metal wheel in the back. Is that a plain maple veneer on top? I don't think it is actually. Shouldn't have said that. But, and sort of graphite string trees. So this is the 600 series, and it's really nice. I really like this pickup layout. I think modern Pacificas are kind of all this. I think even the sort of cheaper ones are this layout. They won't have Seymour Duncans, but the whole 3-way switch, single coil, which gives you if you're in a single coil on a bridge, kind of argue it's your Telecaster-y sound, and then you get both of them on, and then you've got the humbucker. It's like it's 5 really usable sounds. So I'll stop talking about it. So one of my go-to positions that I always end up adding into guitars with coil splits and stuff is single coil, so you got a sort of dual sonic middle position Telecaster thing going on. It's a P90 in the neck. on its own. Plenty of telly-type twang in that. I think it maybe feels a bit like a telly as well because it's the hardtail. You know, I think inherently if once you put like a trem in, it makes it feel slightly differently, so you don't get that. Although obviously you do get hardtail strats, but and then you've got the humbucker. Then you've got the middle positions where it's a humbucker and the P90. Yeah, so you can't fault Yamahas, and my fault comes in with these is the problem. You can kind of tell this is an expensive Pacifica looking at it, you know, with the flame top on it. But say if it was black, it probably comes in black. It's just going to look like the 150 or whatever the base model Pacifica is. So everyone's going to go, oh, Yamaha Pacifica. Everyone knew someone who had one of them or owned one. It's like when they are absolutely pretty much faultless guitars. You know, equivalent of like a sort of £200 Yamaha Pacifica, you're like 300 or 400 quid on other guitars, other manufacturers' sites to get something of the same quality. But as I always say, it doesn't look like a Gibson SG or it doesn't look like a Fender Strat, so it's somewhere in the middle. And the Pacifica's been kicking about for years. I think it wins, the cheaper one anyway, wins like the best guitar under 200 quid since about 1991 or something like that, like when there were still guitar magazines. I think it was always win because they're just absolutely rock solid. And they've been modified over the years. As I was saying there, now they've got a P90 in the neck and a bucker in the bridge, which is right up my alley. I think it's a great thing. Whereas I think they started off, you know, it was maybe HSS, then they were HH, and you get HS, you get single cut. There's every couple of years, I think they sort of revamp the range. You know, they'll upgrade the pickups and upgrade the bridge, but it's still basically a Pacifica. Whereas before that, Yamaha has I don't know when this all sort of started, but we used to get ones called, over here in the UK, the SE series. And about I had a 1986 one, which was kind of like, it was their Pacifica, but back before they invented the Pacifica. I actually got an SE 820, so it's like 800 quid, 2 humbuckers and 0 single coils. And it's actually, the neck on it's actually very similar to this. It's actually not an entirely dissimilar guitar, considering it's 30 years old. They're still able to build them to the same quality. Like noticeably, now that I'm thinking about it, I haven't really thought about it, now I'm thinking about it, the neck's almost identical to the one on the... So when you get it right, they get it right, and I think that's partly to do with the Yamaha thing as well, because I assume it's still the same, that Yamahas are made in Yamaha factories. You know, not very many other people do that. They just kind of do their own thing. They've always been their own thing. Well, not always, but almost ready to stop talking. But I just don't really like this guitar. So I'm going to be back and track it and have a wee jamboree. Make it a bit quieter so it's easier to throw over. To the neck. that's not. I'm playing to the Lady VC15. It's going through that 3x12 cabinet. There's no other pedals on apart from the look pedal, and well, the drum pedal's off now, but I used it. So Joyo US Dream. Position with both the coil split on it. This is P90. Bridge single coil. Bridge on button. Yeah, so this guitar is a smasher. No doubts about it. I'm kind of, sometimes when I get these things in, I'm quite pleased that I didn't get it in a Trade Tuesday or something, but this would just end the Trade Tuesday. I would just end up keeping it, I think. If one turns up. I mean, the thing about the Yamaha Pacificas are fantastic. I sold one in the first Trade Tuesday series, a sort of dark green one. It was the cheaper one, so it was the cheapest, the 112, or the 121, whatever one it was. And it was just pretty much flawless. It's just when you look at this one, I mean, you can just tell by looking at it, it's basically drawn around the same template. It's just everything's a bit more expensive, you know, it's got a thicker bridge, it's got the Graf saddles, it's got the Seymour Duncans, it's got the torque scratch plate, the veneer top, it's shinier, you know, the woods, you can tell the wood the neck's made out of is a really nice piece, and it's nice and glossy as well, which I really like. This modern thing where you get like the satin finish nights, and they're not as good as a glossy one. This is a good, solid. I mean, Yamaha know what they're doing. Just one more thing, I remember when I was jamming and I was talking in the middle of talking when I started playing the guitar. Yeah, so you get the SE series, which were sort of vaguely stratty but a bit rounder, just kind of not quite strat. And then they went to the RGX, which were very similar to the Ibanez RG shape, and they were sort of from, I don't know, what, 87, 88, 89, something like that. And then the Pacifica came out, and they've just stuck with the Pacifica since the early 90s. As I said, you can sort of tell, I think every couple of years they do something different. They put a different coloured scratch plate on it, they upgrade the pickups, they change little things, but ultimately it's kind of the same thing. Yamaha guitar development. So this is kind of like their benchmark. They're always going to make this, I think, from now on. And they've always made them the expensive ones as well. I mean, this is a 600. I think it might even go up to something like a 1200. And I can't even imagine. I mean, that must just be absolutely the most smashing guitar ever. Because I mean, this, I'm not joking, is the best guitar. Assuming that this is in the last 10 years it was made, this is the best guitar I've played that's been made in the last 10 years. It's the quality level's right up there. And again, it's just got that little bit of stigma on it because it's a Yamaha Pacifica, and it just looks like a Yamaha Pacifica, although it does look like a more expensive one. So it's kind of, Jimi Hendrix didn't play one of these, but that might go quite well for the second-hand value in these. I'd imagine buying it new, whatever, say the number starts 6, I'm thinking it's RRP 600 and something quid. At that price, it's probably, I'd imagine this is significantly better than any other guitar you can buy new for 600 quid. The difference being after once you try and sell it on later on, the price will have plummeted because people go, oh, it's a Pacifica, so it's not worth as much as, like, I don't know, the equivalent Fender or Gibson or whatever. They've kind of, it's more to hold its value better. But this will still be a better guitar. Try to do something a little bit experimental there. Yeah, so totally. If you're thinking about one of these and go, oh, is it good? Yes. I don't think you could really find any flaws at all in this guitar, apart from it looks like a Yamaha Pacifica, which might not be a bad thing. Might not. I mean, I do quite like it though. I did an Iron Brew one. I bought a blue one at one point. I just basically painted the scratch plate orange, and that was a fantastic guitar. So I kept that. That was the 112 though, so just basically everything, just not quite as good, but similar design. It wasn't a modern one, but I would probably have kept it, to be honest. It was a humbucker and the P90. That's a great pickup combo. I mean, they're Seymour Duncan, so they'll be expensive pickups as well, but I think even if they were just cheaper, you know, whatever the lower ones in the range are, if they've got the splittable bucker in the bridge and the P90 in the neck and a 3-bay switch, it's a really good combo. You get really nice sounds for what I want to do. I suppose you look at it as a sort of, if you were like a session musician, that would totally do you. It's more versatile than like a Strat or a Gibson is on their own. It's kind of a bit of both in the middle, but it's kind of, anyway, it's rocking. So just for that, catch you later. I don't think the Trade Tuesday is going to be on tomorrow. I do have a video I might put out, but I've kind of accumulated tons of projects. I might have a wee sort of project roundup actually. I think there's about 6 guitars that are currently sort of went for the tradey thing that I've just not got round to because I keep getting, people keep asking me to fix their guitars, and it's like, it's quite good fun doing that, but I'll just sit and fidget and making bucky castles takes ages. It's much more gratifying sorting things. But I'm going to put this in its case so I don't play it all night, it's not mine. Rock on!